Hello everybody and welcome to What If Deku Trained Before He Met All Might. Now, this is a change of pace on our channel as we've only done Pokemon before. But like my about page says, I'm doing different animes and shows. So why not do My Hero Academia for the first one? Anyway, without further ado, let's just get right into the story. Izuku Midoriya would have a perfect childhood, and although he wasn't very outgoing, he had a lot of friends and was kind of popular for being friends with Katsuki Bakugo. But everything changed when Midoriya turned 5. Midoriya would wake up on his 5th birthday and would instantly wake up his mother to take him to the quirk doctor. Inko would of course tell him to calm down as he hasn't eaten breakfast yet and his stomach growls right on time. Inko would make Izuku breakfast and they would head to the quirk doctor where Izuku's life would change forever. Izuku and Inko would be given horrible news. The news was that Izuku was quirkless. Izuku would drop his All Might figure to the ground, as that was the only noise that filled the silence. Inko would finally break the silence as she uses her quirk to levitate the toy to her. She would ask the doctor if they were sure that her son was really quirkless, and the doctor confirmed. Inko and Izuku would drive home, Izuku not saying a word, having the same exact expression throughout the whole drive home. Izuku would watch the same All Might video that he would always watch. His mother would walk in, and Izuku asked her a question that would change everything. "Can I become a hero, even without a quirk?" Izuku would say, with tears pouring down his face. Inko runs up to him and hugs him. She chooses her next words carefully. Says something that changes everything. "Izuku, I'm sorry that you don't have a quirk, but I believe that you can become a hero even without a quirk. You just have to work hard," she would say with slight sobs. Izuku asks his mom if she's sure, and she confirms. Izuku's cry would go from a cry to a sob to a giggle, then a full-blown smile. Inko would smile back at her son, and they would watch the All Might video together. The next day, Izuku would arrive at school, as everybody would talk about their quirks. The teacher would tell everybody that it's time to show off their quirks. All the kids would show off their quirks, with the best being Katsuki Bakugo. It's now Izuku's turn, and he freezes up. Then he remembers his mother's words. Izuku says with a big shaky smile, "I don't have a quirk, but I'm still gonna be a hero." Everybody looks at him with different looks. Some were shocked, some were dumbfounded, some looked at him with sorrow. But one student, Katsuki Bakugo, would look at his best friend with a look of confusion, then a look of anger. Izuku wouldn't care about anybody else's faces except Bakugo's glare. From that day on, Izuku's life would be hell. He would be bullied, teased, and ignored, also abused by all the other students, especially Bakugo. He would be given the name Deku, and from that day on, his life would be hell. One day, an 8-year-old Izuku would come home to his mother, Inko, and a man standing in the living room. Izuku would ask who the man is, and Inko would explain that it's his father, Hisashi Midoriya. Izuku's eyes would widen, as this is the first time he's seen his father. His father would say, "Hey little buddy, sorry for not being around, but hey, I'm here now, aren't I?" Izuku would run to his father and hug him, with tears flowing down his face. Hisashi would hug his son back as he takes a closer look at his son's arm. He would notice a bruise on Izuku's arm and would immediately ask what happened to him. Izuku would say that he fell on his arm and that he's fine, but Hisashi knows Izuku's lying. He asked again, but more sternly this time. Izuku would break down and would tell his parents everything. He would tell them how this has been going on for 3 years. Ever since he revealed that he was quirkless, he tried to stand up for himself, but he's too weak, and they increased the beating. Inko's eyes would widen, as Hisashi's eyes would be dull. He would ask his son who's been bullying him. Izuku tells him that it's Bakugo and a few other kids. Hisashi would tell Midoriya to follow him, as Izuku obeys. Hisashi would say that he and Midoriya are going somewhere and that Inko shouldn't worry. Inko says that she should come with, but Hisashi reassures that they'll be fine. Inko backs off and the father and son leave. Hisashi would take Izuku to a dojo that he used to train when he was a hero in training. Hisashi would sign Izuku up for jutsu and karate lessons. This would train Izuku's body and mind. Izuku would train in karate and jujutsu until he's 14. Izuku has learned a plethora of techniques and is very skilled. He has the body that he had in canon after the All Might training. Izuku would fight back against the bullying ever since he started training in jujutsu and karate. The first year, he would get beat up badly, but over the years, he's learned Bakugo's technique and some of the other bullies too. And would actually overcome the bullying sometimes, but it still continues. Izuku would be running to school, but would see a giant villain fighting Kamui Woods and Mount Lady. Izuku writes down what he can in his hero notebook before running to school. Izuku would be sitting down in class, sketching down what he can in his hero notebook before the teacher walks in saying, "So, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your futures and what you want to do with your lives. I could pass out some career aptitude tests, but why bother? I know you all want to go to the hero track." The class would outburst using their quirks, as the teacher would tell them that there's no quirk use allowed in school as it's illegal. Bakugo would then say, cockily, "Hey teach, don't let me in with this bunch of losers. My quirk is the best in here and none of you can even compare to me. I'll be the strongest and richest hero of all time." The class would boo and yell at Bakugo as he says, "Oh, you want to go, you bunch of freaks?" The class would quiet down and the teacher would say the candidates for UA. Of course, Bakugo would be the one, as he would give up his speech on how he's going to be the best hero. The other candidate would be Izuku. The class would turn and laugh at Midoriya, but Bakugo would stay silent. Deku would defend himself, saying how you can get into UA with smarts alone, but he has been training for years and he's probably stronger than anybody in the class. The whole class, except Bakugo, would laugh even harder. Bakugo would blow up Deku's desk, making him fall back. Midoriya would stand up as he looks back and looks at Bakugo and sees him scowling. Bakugo would put a hand on Izuku's shoulder and would heat up his hand, burning Midoriya's shoulder a little bit. Midoriya and Bakugo would scowl at each other before Bakugo would tell Deku that he even thought about trying out for UA. He'll kill him himself. Izuku would retort, "I'm not your punching bag anymore, Bakugo. You can't just go around bossing people around thinking you're all high and mighty. If you're the best candidate for UA, then the standards must have dropped." The class would ooh at Izuku's last statement as Bakugo would yell, "What the hell did you say to me, you damn nerd?" Bakugo would send off an explosion at Deku, but Midoriya would sidestep, grabbing Bakugo's arm and twisting it, and was about to palm him in the chest. But the teacher would yell, "That's enough. Both of you sit down and be quiet. Midoriya, pick up your desk." Both students would sit down in their seats and the class would go on. At the end of class, Deku would be packing his bags as Bakugo walks up to him. Izuku ignores Bakugo and his lackeys until they steal his hero notebook. Izuku says to give it back, but the lackeys just laugh and say, "You gotta catch it." They then toss it around so Izuku can't catch it until they throw it to Bakugo. Bakugo raises it in the air with a vicious smile. Izuku's eyes widen as he knows what Bakugo is about to do. Deku runs for the notebook faster than he's ever ran before and is able to jump and grab it before any harm could be done. Izuku glares at Bakugo and his lackeys as Bakugo says that he shouldn't try out for UA, and if he wants a quirk, then he should take a swan dive off the roof and pray that he gets one in his next life. Bakugo and his lackeys will walk away laughing. Izuku doesn't let this faze him as much. Izuku walks out of school with his head held high, laughing like All Might. Izuku walks under an underpass as he hears rumbling coming from the sewer. Izuku is then greeted by the noise of the sewer drain hitting the top of the underpass, and a giant monster made of swamp green sludge would appear. Izuku would stand back in shock as the monster would say that he's going to use Izuku as a skin suit. The monster would lunge at his Deku, but thanks to Midoriya's reflexes, he's able to dodge. The sludge would complement Deku on his reflexes before trying to attack again. Deku would try to dodge, but he would be hit on the side. He tried to dodge on by a heap of sludge. He would be knocked into a wall and try to recollect his breath. Sludge villain would loom over Deku before leaping. Deku put his hands up in response, but the sludge villain's attack would never come. Midoriya then hears a familiar voice echoing through the underpass. Before anybody knew it, the number one hero, All Might, jumps out of the manhole and punches the sludge villain. After the sludge villain is defeated, Izuku realizes who saved him. It was All Might. Izuku instantly fanboys out and asks for an autograph and a picture. All Might fulfills both requests and is about to jump away, but Izuku stops him and asks him one question. Can I still become a hero even without a quirk? All Might's face only would look at Deku with a straight face before saying, becoming a hero without a quirk just isn't possible. You're better off becoming a firefighter or a police officer. I'm sorry, kid, but that's the truth. Izuku's dream would be shattered. All Might would then jump off to a roof, and then he would realize that the sludge villain's gone. It must have awakened, jumped out while it was in the air, All Might thought. Izuku would make his way home, but that's when he hears an explosion and sees smoke. He runs over to see what's happening, and he sees that the sludge villain escaped from All Might. It appears that the sludge villain has somebody hostage and is causing the rampage, but the heroes aren't doing anything. Deku takes a closer look and sees that it's Bakugo being captive. Deku, without thinking, would immediately start running at the sludge villain. The sludge villain tries to use part of his body to hit Midoriya, but Izuku dodges. Izuku then throws his book bag to stun the sludge villain. The bag hits the sludge villain in the eye, allowing Deku to run and pick up a rock, throwing the rock at the other eye. The sludge villain loses grip on Bakugo, and Deku tries to grab Bakugo out. But the sludge villain's grip would tighten on Bakugo. Deku would look up at the sludge villain, who was glaring down at him. He hits Deku, sending Midoriya skidding on his back. Midoriya would run at the sludge villain again, but this time All Might jumps in and punches the sludge villain, saving Bakugo. The aftermath of the attack would have Bakugo praised for his strong quirk and Deku scolded for running in like that. Deku makes his way home, but is stopped by the shout of the name Deku. Midoriya turns around to see that Katsuki Bakugo is standing there. Bakugo tells Deku that he didn't need someone like Deku to try and save him. Zuko would chuckle at this and say, sure you didn't, before laughing a little more. Bakugo would walk off with a scoff. Deku would finally get home, but would be stopped by All Might at his buff form. Deku would be shocked that the number one hero was here in front of him. All Might would tell Zuko that he is very proud of him, that a quirkless boy did what pro heroes couldn't. All Might would then go on to explain One for All and how he wants Deku to be his successor. Deku would accept this, as this was the only chance to become a hero if he could. All Might would give Deku a strand of his hair and tell him to eat it. Deku would be shocked at this, but All Might explains that to inherit One for All, a person has to have a perfect vessel, which Izuku already has, and has the DNA of the current user. Deku would eat the hair but wouldn't feel anything. All Might would tell Deku that it doesn't kick in right away and he should go to bed and meet him at Dagobah Beach tomorrow. Deku would follow what All Might said, and the 10 hellish months of training would begin. So, that's where we end for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's a change of pace on our channel, and I want to keep making a series. So, like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.